Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the YFP panel discussion today. My name is Zech Williams. I work for Wurth Revcar, and I'm also on the YFP board. And today I'm really excited about our topic because it's really important to me and near and dear to my heart, and it's the importance of mentorship. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and have the panelists introduce themselves.
Mike. My name is Mike White. I'm Northeast Regional Manager for Brighton Best.
My name's Kelly Charles. I'm Vice President of Sales at Sems and Specials.
My name is Nihar Sinha, President, Ameristeel Fastener, Import and Distribution Company. Want to give a shout out to YFP for this program, and I had the privilege of being mentored by Jim Derry, CEO Field. Thanks.
Okay. All right, well, let's start off with our first question. So, what would you say the key benefits are of having a mentor for both the mentee and the mentor themselves?
Yeah. I would say for the mentee, it's about building your community. You know, finding someone that's at a different point in their career and helping them to achieve their goals.
I've always found that menteeing is really about cutting the learning curve of individuals. Like the runway of learning, if you're learning on independently, then it's a much longer curve to get that information, but a mentor really can deep dive in a short term to cut the learning curve of that individual.
I think that there's like the mentees need clarity of vision after a while when they're in business. It's like you want to dig deeper, do some soul searching, what your company is going to be in 10 years. And that's where your mentor comes in. They can help you. It's great motivation and they keep you accountable. Also, I think for mentors, I would say it's kind of a way to give back to the future fastener industry, the generation. So it's a win-win for both.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, so I've only been in the fastener industry for a couple of years, and I thought I knew a lot about fasteners coming into it, and I quickly learned I didn't really know anything. So I think having a mentor for me was really important to really cut down that learning curve, and I think it's just really important all around. So how do you feel that the process was to apply for the program, and how do you feel about the accuracy of the matchup with your mentee or mentor?
I feel that it was really easy to apply for the program, and you just go there, fill out the application, say where you are in your career at that point and what you look for in your mentor, and they seamlessly match you up. I think for any program, especially mentorship, it would be how compatible you are with your mentor. And YFP did a great job. A couple of years back, I reached out to somebody on LinkedIn, and it was a women-owned business, and I thought, she will resonate with me because it's women, and I have the same women-owned business myself. But after a few meetings, I realized we didn't have anything in common. So I think there, YFP did such a good match. It was a good fit for me. Jim has been a great mentor, so it's really, the process was easy and the match was great.
Good.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, the mentee that I got matched up with, is a much younger version of myself. So, and the structure of the program was great. Having, specific topics to talk about. We go through them one by one, but some of the most important conversations that we're having are just the kind of off the cuff, hey, how would you handle this situation? Have you been through this? Because it's all about perspective. I've got a completely different perspective than someone so much younger than I do. So I've really enjoyed the program.
I would agree. I think the process was simple and clean and efficient for me as well as for my mentee. And I think the YFP selection process was amazing, and how they identified and merged mentee and mentor. They deserve a lot of kudos for that.
All right. So what would be the biggest takeaway from your discussions and sessions that you've had as a mentee or a mentor, and how has that evolved your thought process?
I think early on, the conversation is really just about getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, our conversations about business advantages, opportunities, and career planning, things of that. So it's been great.
Yeah, I would agree. The thing that's been really fun for me is it's really making me think about where I'm at in my career and what the next 10 years or so looks like. So it's something that I really hadn't put a lot of thought and planning into. And it was just really fun to kind of get that down on paper, think about what I'm looking for and also what she's looking for.
And I think mine would be just the opposite of hers, where it kind of felt like I got a road map, and the mentor is going to point out all the tricky spots, all the shortcuts, and you just learn from the experiences and from the mistakes they made. I think as entrepreneurs, we make, all kinds of big and small mistakes. And if we get to learn from somebody else's, we can shorten the learning curve. So I think that's a great part of the program.
Yeah, so I'm a mentee in the program, and I would say I've kind of had the same experience where it started out slow, and then it kind of got into career, and it's even butted into where we talk about life and just general things like that as well. So it helps you really establish a great relationship for life in the industry. So, why do you think mentoring is important, specific to the fastener industry?
When I started out in the fastener industry, I thought our industry was really big and really hard to navigate. And I think mentorship program would kind of guide you, and they help you with the networking part of it, and you start to feel a part of this community. So also the complexities of the fastener industry, I think they help you navigate that. Um, it's it's huge in a way when it comes to products, what you can sell, what direction you can take for your company. So your mentor has been through all those, they've been through that journey. So you get to learn a lot from that.
Yeah, I would agree. And, I think there's a lot of tribal knowledge that has to be communicated. And this is just a good way of, learning from other people in the industry. I try to be a mentor to people at my own company, but it's been really fun to work with someone in a related industry, but not the same exact business, and just seeing how those things kind of translate.
I think as our industry transitions, we've gone through almost 100 years of being in industry, and our transition currently is from a generation of 50 years of tribal knowledge that's institutionalized, but it's not shared and documented. And mentoring really allows for that information to be transferred. And there are two real benefits for organizations that participate. One is mentoring is a great way for retaining people.
Hmm.
A person that has a mentor and a mentee is much more likely to be glued in to that industry and organization than somebody that's not disconnected. The second thing is about risk management, where companies that are investing in their people can manage their risk in terms of information flow, but also information gathering and community development, community building. And so those benefits have been amazing. Companies that haven't participated need to participate. And I'm grateful for the YFP and the NFDA for being dogmatic about needing to do this.
And what do you say are some small things that we can do to help empower the next generation?
I think the most important thing for me is really just getting them connect. Like, if you strip away all the other stuff, it's really tying young people to the industry and them finding how they fit into a non-traditional, antiquated industry and finding their voice and their power, and not saying, oh, they don't want to work or their work skills aren't the same, their work ethic isn't the same. No, we just need to do a better job of tying them to the industry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, one small thing you can do is just make an introduction. If you think there's someone that could help the person in their career, make that introduction. I think we have to keep, the younger generation involved in our regional organizations and also, our national organizations, because the more connected people become, the stronger their bond is to the industry and the more likely that they're going to stick around.
I would totally agree with Kelly. I think networking, where the mentor introduces the mentees to their network or to other people in the industry, it can lead to some new opportunities, collaborations, and I think that's how they pass on the torch. So nothing is big and small, but I think networking and introduction within the industry really helps.
All right. And then I guess moving on, what are some of the ways that a mentor has influenced your lives or careers?
I think when you are meeting with your mentor and you're having the discussions, those are just not only professional. You touch upon personal things. You touch upon so many. You learn from them, from their experiences. So, uh, like I said, that it has to be a good fit. So you learn professional, personal, thought level. Everything adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my experience, I started in the fastener industry right out of college at the age of 22. So I was really looking to role models to help me build my career. So for me, it was about meeting people, finding out kind of what made them tick, you know, not necessarily copying the way that they do things, but turning it into, you know, taking kind of the best of what I was seeing and making it work for myself, because you have to be true to yourself, I think, to be successful.
I would agree with that. I think for me, mentors have served multiple purposes, but I think most importantly, it's showing what's possible if you do the work.
Mm-hmm.
All of us need that guiding light that sets a standard, that gives us kind of an internal accountability clock of this is the schedule that I want my life to be on. These are the things that they did. This is how they did it. I don't have to carbon copy it, but I can use it as an idea and a template for my own career. And so that's the primary benefit I've gotten from the mentors that I've had.
Yeah, and myself, I've had similar experiences too. I mean, it's really important for me and in having my mentor. It's given me an attraction to the industry, like we were talking about, to just stick around. And I think without that, there wouldn't have been as much attraction. And I know for me, I'm very goal oriented, and sometimes I want to move a little fast. And my mentor is like, just enjoy the process. So there's just a lot of really good advice that goes along with that. So beyond professional development, how does a mentorship contribute to personal growth and well-being?
I think for me, for my relationship with Adam, who's my mentee this year, we spend more time talking about work-life balance and fatherhood than work, because I'm really about making sure I want you to have a great career, but I don't want you to lose everything else in the process, because that was me at 25. I was 100% about the business, and everything else was secondary. I've only learned how to be a more balanced individual as I've grown, and so that was key for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it is about perspective, because, you know, I've gone through, things in my career that, I'm very happy that I've had the career that I've had. But to talk to my mentee about, that work-life balance, the interpersonal skills that, you need to do the job, kind of those soft skills. And, the happy you are in your personal life, I think that can translate into, happiness in your career. So it's about not losing sight of the whole picture. Work is important, but work is work. So.
I think as a women-owned business, that's always for us. It's the house, the kids, and the work we have to balance. And even with Jim, he could, he could understand where I came from. Although he had a lot of support when he started out, but it's most of the sessions we would talk about it, how I'm trying to juggle between those things. So again, work-life balance, I think, is a big topic when it comes to mentorship discussions, and it's so refreshing when the other person understands you. It gives you a kind of confidence in yourself that you're doing the right thing, you are moving in the right direction, and it just brings a lot. Like as a mentee, I can bring a lot more to the table when I'm confident about how I'm giving my personal and professional life a balance.
Yeah, same thing for me. I know that I just recently got married, and so I went to my mentee, and what advice do you have for being married and all those kinds of things. It was really important for me to grow as a person personally as well in my personal life. So, um, what role would you say mentorship plays in promoting diversity and inclusion?
So I think when people sign up for this program, that's the first step they take towards inclusion and diversity. When I started out, I didn't have a mentor, and after my meetings with Jim, I kind of felt that the way he pushed me into, hey, you need to join these organizations, you need to network with people, that made me feel more a part of this community. It made me feel inclusive, and it gave me the confidence in myself, and where I kind of realized my potential as well, that what I can bring to the table as as a women-owned business. So as a mentee, I was adding to the diversity as well. So I think it's a two-way street. So both mentors and mentees can do that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it was, I got to meet someone that I probably would not have met. She's in a completely different part of the country. Our paths might not have crossed except for this program. So, seeing her as a young woman succeed just makes my heart so happy. Um, I was lucky that I had good mentors as I was growing, in my career. So, it's for me, it's about being able to give that back. And, if you see a spark in somebody, just get to know them. It doesn't have to be a full blown program, although I love this program, but just take those little small steps to try to bring people along in their career.
I think also it's really about our responsibility as we've all grown to find ways to give back in the same way that somebody gave to us. And I think the limitlessness of mentoring knows no boundary. And so it might be somebody like you, it might be somebody completely different from you. The responsibility is not to be hoarded by you, but to be given to every opportunity that you have there presents itself.
Yeah. So that's a perfect segue, Kelly, sorry, because the next question I want to talk about is how do we see mentoring changing in the future, given the technology and work dynamic changes and things like that. Being in a different part of the country from your mentee, how are you guys getting past that?
You know what? We're taking advantage of the technology that we have. Whether it be a video call, talking on the phone. She was super excited about a promotion she just got, so she texted me. And it's just there's so many ways that you can connect. Obviously face to face is always going to be the preferred, but there's a lot of different technologies that are available to us.
You never know, we're going to have holographic meetings one day, but definitely Zoom helps. And I think like technology we are seeing is going to be a huge part of our fastener industry going forward. We have e-commerce and AI is picking up. So I feel that even in the mentorship meetings, AI is going to be the big hot topic that we're going to be discussing going forward, and how the mentors and mentees can maybe collaborate and disrupt the fastener industry or the distribution industry one day. So I think technology is going to be a big part of it.
And if someone can explain AI to me, I would be grateful.
You probably have to ask your mentee for that. But I do think in terms of tech and the advancements going forward, it is about breaking down any barriers that might exist to mentoring. As an industry, we have to do everything we can, and that's where the NFDA and the YFP comes into play, because whether a large company has the tools to invest and a small organization doesn't, the investment is still necessary from a national perspective to give everyone that wants to participate an equal and fair opportunity to access mentoring.
Perfect. Well, that's all the questions I've got. Does anybody in the crowd have questions?
So, are there times as a mentor where you feel that maybe the roles are switched and your mentee is teaching you something? Or, as a mentor, what have you taken away mostly?
Yeah, no, it's been a great learning experience for me too, because it's helping to make me a better manager to my younger employees to understand what's important to them. And, we're both in sales, so we're bouncing ideas off of how we're keeping in front of our customers, what kind of spreadsheets we keep, how we communicate. So it's just been a breath of fresh air for me because as you get older, you get a little more stuck in your ways, and finding out, that there's a different, better way to do it is awesome. No?
I would agree with that. I think what you learn when you make yourself available to learn is there's more than one way to do everything. And if you're willing to be available to listening, then you can always take something from every conversation.
Perfect. All right. We have any other? Oh, over here. Oh, I'm over here. You have a question, man? Right.
So you mentioned something about specific topics being presented. Can you give us an example of a pattern or what some of them are, please?
Sure. So through the program, it's a couple of the topics that we've taken on have been, active listening, the interpersonal skills that you need to effectively do your job. So I'm drawing a blank. What else talked about?
I think a lot of it was the template was getting to know each other, the business dynamics, sharing information, sharing background, sharing your work, and then building from there. I think for each of us, you took the template to start your mind on what you needed, and then you made it your own. So for me and Adam, it was our first two calls were really information sharing. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on? What do you do? Etc. And then from then on, it was here's what we've talked about before. Where are we at now in those conversations? What are your takeaways? What did we talk about that we didn't finish? What has happened in that period of time? If he was in the midst of, hiring somebody, how'd that go? What was that experience like? What questions did he ask that he and I had talked about before in the interview? Did he get the information that he needed? When you've never hired anybody before, and you can read a book and say, like, here are the 15 interview questions you should ask somebody. And then you talk to somebody who's actually interviewed somebody before, and you're like, that's not in any book whatsoever. And so I think those are the things that we took from the original template from day one, that when Mallory sent it out, of trying to make 15 conversations into things that we really wanted to get.
When me and Jim started out, actually, we had the template from Mallory, and we went over maybe a question, and then Jim is like, just tell me about your background, how you started off. And we hit right away. It was like, he's like, I can see I started off just like you. And, then all the stories started coming in, all the experiences. And we actually never even went back to the template. It was all about the questions, the endless questions I think that I had for Jim, and all the things I wanted to squeeze out of him. Was like, this is my moment, so let me ask as many questions I can ask. So he joked about it last time. He's like, I don't think we ever went through it, and you are always like, you have tons of questions and it's never ending. So I think template is great that YFP provides, and you can go over it, but as a program, it's just about what you want to touch up on, what topics are close to your heart, where you want clarity, where you are in your journey. It gets very personal.
And one of my favorite sections was on leadership and also charismatic leadership, because there's certain things that you can teach and certain things that are just within you. And it was really interesting just to talk about how we like to do things and, just kind of the style that works for us. And, what she's hoping to see in a leader. And, as she continues in her career, as she becomes a leader, I think she's going to be so much more well versed as to what she wants to do and how she wants to do it. So that was a really fun thing for me.
All right, perfect. Well, I think we have time for one last question. We still have one over here.
Hello, friends. My question is, do you have any feedback for us about the program? Anything that we can work to implement to improve the program going forward?
I really don't. It's a well put together program. I'm passionate enough about it that I already signed up for next year. So it's been great.
I would agree. I haven't signed up yet, but I have to. I don't think there's anything you all can do. I think for us, it's really just about tools that we use. So, for me, anybody that I mentor gets a set of books because I read them. They're my prescription for teaching somebody early management. And Adam was like, "Hey, where are my books at? Like you promised me my books." Amazon was out of stock. I'm sorry. But that's my point is like that's much more individual in nature. It's what I want from me and my mentee, not something that will work for Kelly because she might not use Patrick the way I would.
And I think I heard the same feedback from Jim last meeting. He's like, this is awesome. I'm signing up for the next year as well. So I think you guys are doing a great job.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right, in closing out, make sure you visit the YFP booth today, number 964, for a free professional headshot going on all day long today. And at the end, if you have any questions about the mentorship or YFP in general, find one of the board members, or Mallory is over here with Amy. And there's also some handouts on the back tables. Feel free to grab one of those and you can learn anything you need to do. So thank you all for coming and appreciate it.
Thank you.